Hello and welcome to another week of Finance Talk with myself, Sapphire Gray. Love to hear your feedback, so don't forget to leave your comments in the chat and I'll get back to all your questions that you may have on this week's topic, 7 tips for first-time home buyers. I'll be sharing with you 7 key tips in which first-time buyers should use to help them get on that property ladder. Each week I will bring in you different financial advice. So don't forget to make sure you book it in your diaries and make sure you like so that we can make sure that you get the link to each episode and every week. So 7 tips for first-time home buyers. Purchasing a home can be very trying for new first-time buyers, and all the things considered, there are many steps that need to be considered when purchasing your first home. And it may be that you're a novice at this. So this is why I want to help you through this process. However, buying a new property shouldn't be rocket science. With the proper research and the proper guidance, you can get through the process quite simply and quite easy. And you can then become that first-time buyer with all the knowledge. That's why we at the Savvy Women Group have taken a time to compile these 7 tips for you today and consider this the beginning of your property investment journey. Remember, thank us later when we share these important tips. So tip 1, save a deposit. A deposit will always be needed when you're making a purchase of a home. In any situation, whether you're an investor, first-time buyer, or simply refinancing your current home, you always will need a deposit. Even if you put a little away each month, and something is better than nothing. That's what I always say. On average, a deposit is normally about, if you're looking at a house of 100,000, it's 25%. However, if you're a first-time buyer, there is some lenders out there that can go as high as 85%. So you're looking around 15% deposit. So always have in mind between a 5 and 25% deposit when buying a property. You can also look at some mortgage lenders are now doing that 95% for first-time buyers. A good thing is to keep in mind the bigger deposit, the more you would be able to get on your mortgage and the less that you would have to borrow from the bank. And this actually helps with building out your first property and getting your rung or your foot on the first rung of the property ladder as a first-time buyer. Tip 2, increase your deposit for free. Some people would have heard about lifetime ISAs, leases as they call it. This is what will help you save and boost your deposit up to a maximum of £1,000 every financial year. You must be between the age of 18 and 39 to be eligible for this, to open a LISA account. Savings up to £4,000 a year from your own contributions to buy a property for retirement or both. Who says that you can't save up for both? These contributions can also be supplemented as well by the government with a bonus of 25% of the figure you are putting in, up to a maximum of £1,000 per year. In order to use these funds from a LISA, or LISA as they call it, account, you must have the account open for at least 12 months and can be used to purchase against a property of up to the value of 450,000. Before a LISA account, there used to be Help to Buy, ISA schemes, but these came to an end in November 2019. This is where you needed to be careful because of the common misconception of some people believe that they can use their LISAs and other ISAs accounts they might already have towards their home. This is incorrect, as you only are eligible to use the bonus from one of them towards buying a property. So make sure you always check in with a financial advisor to make sure that you're doing the right thing and you understand what you can do with an ISA or LISA. Always make sure that you get a firm understanding and also go to a broker to get a better understanding of how much you can actually borrow up to as well. This is very important because what you don't want to do is go out there and find that you can't actually get the mortgage that you want. You're seeing this beautiful house, then all of a sudden it's going to cost you too much. So do your due diligence beforehand, and then you'll be in a good stead to be purchasing your first property. Tip 3, research. There's something I cannot stress enough when it's signing up a contract of your own for your first home. And it's more than likely that this will be the only experience, and it can be scary and it can be stressful, but exciting at the same time, because you are going to purchase your first home. But many people rush into this, and some things that you should consider when you're doing this is how much budget do you have? So how much money do you have towards your home? And what are you going to have some money for furnishing as well, for your legals? Because what people also forget is to have, they've got the deposit, but the other associated costs, that could be your broker's cost, your solicitor's cost, stamp duty, anything associated, furnishing at your home, moving costs, all of these things are associated costs to purchasing a property. So how much money do you have to purchase it? And where do you want to live? This is another key thing that you have to consider as well, is where do you want to actually live? Do you want to live in central London or anywhere abouts in this area? Or do you want to live somewhere else? You've got to figure out where you actually want to live, so that it's going to be beneficial to you, your partner, or your family traveling towards you as well. Start to look at, and also when you're looking at where you want to live, another key point here is to also look at areas where it's affordable. So for instance, in London, you could be looking at for a 2-bedroom flat, you could look in upwards of 250,000. Whereas if you went to somewhere like Liverpool, you could get probably a 4 to 5 bedroom house for 90,000. So those are the pros and cons that you have to consider. Where do you want to live? Where's financially viable for yourself to live? And make sure you do your due diligence around that. So start looking at properties that are available within your price bracket. Don't try to look at properties that is unaffordable, because it would only be upsetting if you can't afford it, you've fallen in love with it, and then when it comes to working at your finance, you actually can't afford it. Register yourself with the estate agents in the area in which you want to buy properties, so that they can give you guidance, and they also can give you the list that is available within those areas. This is another key thing as well. And when properties do come on the market, you'll be the first to know, because you've registered with them. Get to understand your mortgage broker. Who will be your mortgage lender? Finding a good mortgage broker will be really good at this stage, because then they're whole of market. They can sort out all your paperwork, tell you how much you can borrow up to, do all of their paperwork, i.e. getting your credit report, making sure that's all pristine, doing a decision in principle to make sure that you can get the finance you want for your property. How much stamp duty do you have to pay? You've got to set aside how much stamp duty. We've just come out of a really good deal with the stamp duty holiday, and was you able to get there in time, or are you going up to October where there's still some leverage? First time buyers do have some leverage, however, with the stamp duties, but always make sure you check it out as well. It might seem there is a lot of questions and information out there that you need to gather, but if you start asking the right people at the right time, then the time it comes for you to purchase your first home, these questions will be answered in its entirety. And then you'll have a nice, stress-less idea of buying your property, and the process will be more relaxing and enjoyable. And then you'll be happy to then move into your home. As long as you start doing your research now in advance, seek out the advice that you need and where you want to be, what you want to do, nothing will go wrong. Tip 4, government schemes. The government Help to Buy scheme, which is aimed to assist first-time buyers, can help you get onto the property ladder quicker. Here's how this scheme works. Now, you have to put down, it's an equity loan, which involves you putting down 5% deposit, where the government will then loan you 20% of the deposit free of interest for the first 5 years. That's key, for the first 5 years. Here you would already have 25% deposit. The deposit of which remains is 75%, which you then will get from your lenders, i.e. Barclays, HSBC. And if you go to a broker that's whole of market, therefore it allows you to borrow from different lenders and look to assess from different lenders, which might have better and favorable rates for first-time buyers. And there's a lot of rates for first-time buyers, so check them out in advance so you get a better understanding. You then have your 25%, 20% from the government, 5% from yourself, 75% from your lender, which then you put would be then put towards the rent on the rest of it as a percentage, and then you clear it down. While one government Help to Buy scheme might have ended in November 2019, other schemes are always being put in place to help first-time buyers out on the market as well. And as part of this research side, keep things open and keep your eyes open even to make sure that you can see where the governments have put in schemes to help you as the first-time buyer. Tip 5, a positive credit score. Now, when it comes time for you to apply for a mortgage, your mortgage lenders or broker could ask for you to get your credit score. Now, if you've been a good spender over the years and never had a CCJ or a default, then you're in good stead. If you've had some difficulties over the years, and there's nothing wrong with that, all of us get into a pickle sometimes, and you know we're finding our feet again. So if that is the case, it's the case to be honest with your brokers or whoever's going to be lending you the money. So when you get your credit score, have a look at it. Where are you scored at? Because that determines what the rates that you can get. It doesn't stop you from getting a mortgage, but it does determine the rates you'll get. The better the score, the better the rate from the lender you will get. So make sure you do have a look at your credit report. Now, the best tip I can offer here is when you get your credit report, and say like we're getting it in July, we're in July now, so you're getting it in July and you're not purchasing till next year because you've got to save it for a deposit. And there's something you need to boost up your credit score. Now make sure that you start working your credit, so that you're making it good over the next few months. Don't miss any payments. Make sure you pay your credit cards off in full, making sure that you're just building up and boosting your credit score. So when it does come to you eventually buying your property, your credit score looks really good. If you don't have that trouble and you've got a really good credit score, then you're in good stead to get a good rating, a favorable rating because of your credit score, which always helps when you're looking for a mortgage. Tip 6, consider buying with someone, a partner, a family, or friends. Purchasing a property by yourself is not something many people out there can do nowadays. We all know that we're all going through hard times. We've just gone through a massive pandemic. So obviously things are really hard. But doing a JV with someone on purchasing a property is one of the things that was done back in the day as well. It was done many years ago. People used to pool their money together, buy a property together. And once that property gathered equity in it, we release the equity for the next person in line to then buy another property. And I think that tradition is still standing today. There's a lot of good ways to do this, and it's really a positive way of doing it as well. And then you can actually allow yourself that breathing space, even if you're renting a room or buy a property where you know you can rent a room, so it helps you cover the mortgage. These are the things that you need to consider. Is buying a property with someone the best thing for you? Because you might have the deposit, so that's not the issue. But if you're going to say to cover the mortgage and help with some of the bills, renting out that spare room is a good way of going as well. Seek help from your parents. The bank of mum and dad is always the good one. This point does not always mean mum and dad have a huge deposit saved up and ready for you to hand over to you and say, here's your inheritance in advance. It's not necessarily like that. But investing in a home also could help and leverage their pension. So if they lend you the money for a deposit and take the equity out of their home to put into your home, they're building more on top of their nest egg as well. So giving you that cushion to give you the deposit to put you on that property ladder can also support their pension, them going forward as well, because then they're being able to utilize that money. So when you can get to the point where you can remortgage, yes, you can pay off mum and dad, and yes, you can definitely pay mum and dad some interest back on the money that they loaned you, which is to their advantage as well, because as they get up in the years as well, remortgaging properties on their behalf may not be viable. So putting the money into their children's pots is more viable for them, therefore allowing them to have that nest egg put aside, and then when they need it and when it's available to you to withdraw it, then you can then give that back to them with interest on top. And it's like a saving pot for them as well. And that's how some parents consider doing savings as well. It's by helping you get on the property ladder, the young ones get on the property ladder, buying their first home, and that's what they need to do. So like any huge undertaking, an effective home purchasing experience is all about getting the details right from the start to finish. So ensure you're taking the time to really educate yourself here on what you need to do so you can end up with a beautiful home like this. When you're purchasing, understand the process. Don't ever be shy or shy off any potential. Seek professional advice. Come and speak to us and we can really help you as well. We have a whole plethora of information and support. We have mortgage brokers in-house. We run an estate agent and letting agents. So come and speak to us and see what is available to you. We've also helped our clients clear up their credit records as well, so that they could get on the property ladder. So it's always good to talk. You can reach out to us via our email, free to discover, to do a discovery call with us if you need any more information. So please feel free to reach out, and we're here to help. That's what we do. We've been in the property industry over 30 years, and we've got a really good team around us. I've built it out that I can offer you unsolicited advice and really help you get on that ladder and set out a plan on how you can actually do it, what deposits you may need, how you can save for your deposits, and what is the best strategy for you to move yourself forward to becoming that first-time buyer. I want to wish you all the best if you are a first-time buyer. And it's not, first-time buyers is not synonymous with age. First-time buyers is any age. So I want to wish you all the best in trying to get yourself on that property ladder. And I hope you can do that safely and wisely. And if you do need some assistance and you want to really get some really good advice to start you off on that property rung, please feel free to reach out to us. And you can get us on info@savvywomen.co.uk, or look at our website, Savvy Women, or get us on any social media, 50 Savvy Women. We look forward to sharing more finance talks with you next week. And if you have any questions or you really want some advice, please feel free to share it with us. And if there's any topic that you'd like us to discuss in the Saturday's finance talk, please feel free to share. I'm happy to really develop and help people out there, the community out there, to really get a handle on their finances so they can make better, informed and wise choices. Happy to share this with you today. I'll see you next week. Sapphire Gray and out.